Anti-Afro Svengalis. Oh, I have something to say about what's been happening around the nation. People getting suspended and fired over comments that they are making about Charlie Kirk's assassination or Charlie Kirk's ideology. Before I get into it, I want to show you an example or illustration of something that a lot of people are missing. They're missing the big picture, which is the reason why there's an explosion of suspensions and firings. Listen to this brief clip of an incident that occurred involving a police officer, a mother, and her two children who had gone to swim in a pool at a hotel where the mother was on business. Check this out.
It's not going to be funny after I call Turn Affairs on you. It's not going to be funny. Trust and believe me. You will hear from me. So now he's telling me to call the chief on him. Please share this video. Now he's being smart, saying call the chief. He's saying call the chief. You don't need to tell me anything. You don't need to educate me at all. Well, who I need to call. Period.
But if I come up here and I have to handle a call, I'm gonna handle it the way I see fit.
He said if he have to handle a call, he gonna handle it the way he see fit.
Up until when this cop made the statement you see here on the screen, I was focused on what other people were focused on. This horrendous discrimination that this mother and these two children were suffering. I'm pointing out that this cop is governing his words and his behavior based on these Supreme Court decisions. Yes, it's related to what's happening with Charlie Kirk. The overwhelming majority of people on social media don't have any idea as to their rights, as to the guidelines, as to the limits when it comes to the comments that they're making, whether they're written comments or spoken comments. Had they been aware of rulings in their states, federal appeals court, Supreme Court ruling, wise people would have governed their behavior accordingly. This is what this cop is doing, and it's not excusing anything that's happening. In those two cases, the Supreme Court said the cop on the scene is the one whose judgment they're going to defer to. The first one, he didn't want to use spike strips with an illegal alien bailing down the freeway, drunk, saying he's going to kill cops, putting everybody at risk. He wanted to use a rifle and take them out. He didn't want to listen to the supervisor. And he didn't listen to the supervisor. He took the shots and killed the illegal alien barreling down the freeway drunk. In the second case, a man with mental health issues commandeers a police cruiser and was told, if you take off in this car, I'm going to shoot you. The man puts the car in reverse, trying to peel away, and is shot and killed. Both of these cases snaked all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled both of these officers were in the situation and they were deferring to their judgment. Therefore, qualified immunity applies, which means they cannot be held liable for their actions in their role as police officers. As an FYI, the manager who called the police ended up getting fired. So what is the difference between what this officer is dealing with and what those on social media who are getting suspended and fired are dealing with? It comes down to a disparity in their knowledge. He's making an informed decision as far as what he says and what he does. Those on social media getting suspended and fired are not. You damn well better believe that every police department across this country remains astutely aware each and every time any decision is handed down regarding police authority or use of force. And 98% of the time, this involves the rank and file. So the rank and file out there pounding the pavement, best believe they know every single decision that has been handed down, and the wise ones will govern their behavior accordingly. In most instances, police don't suffer any legal outcomes, prosecutions based on decisions made when they're in the field. They are going by what the Supreme Court has handed down. Can't say the same for those on social media when it comes down to disciplinary action, being charged with a crime. Where's their investment in knowing what the court rulings state with respect to behavior on social media? And by no means am I meaning to convey roll over and play dead when it comes to cops. When situations start to get dicey, the quicker you exit, the better chances you have of survival. I don't even mess with that madness. Look at these people over here, these illegal aliens. There's somebody being killed in Chicago. This is the first illegal alien killed by police gunfire since this campaign or this strategy kicked off to address illegal immigration in the country. I'm not dealing on that level. They have the backing of the Supreme Court to go the distance with you, and they're going to get away with it 98% of the time. If there's an issue to address, I'm going to address it with the administration. I'm not going to get into no physical confrontation with no cops on the damn street. You know how it ends up. Look at the number of people on social media. The numbers are astronomical. Those who are getting into hot water with comments are getting fired, they're getting suspended. They have no idea, in most instances, about rulings that apply when it comes to whether free speech takes precedence over their employer's right to can them. If they took the time to read the decisions that are made in their state federal appeals court, I have a feeling that a lot less people would be canned. What makes it even worse, these people are getting online, identifying who they are, legal name, whole name up there, picture up there, affiliation, putting their employers on the hook, not even thinking about consequences. They're only thinking about, I have free speech. They have no clue that free speech is not a concept that is unbridled and unfettered. Teachers, professors, anyone in the academic arena should be aware of zero tolerance when it comes to violence. So if they're getting on the internet and applauding, laughing, celebrating, supporting Charlie Kirk's assassination or anybody's assassination, you're going to get suspended. You're going to get fired because now you're violating code of conduct. Everybody is aware that you modify your conduct when you come to a place of employment, when you're in a public setting with other people. Everyone knows you take on somewhat of a different demeanor, different than what you would with family and friends. That's not being phony. That's being self-respecting. That's respecting others. That's maintaining harmony. But to jump up here and act like there are no freaking rules, you have no regulations, you answer to no one, and you can say whatever the hell you want on social media, I think that's problematic. You can still get a point across without using incendiary language and language that represents that you support somebody getting assassinated. You can feel that way. I'm not talking about feeling that way. It's where you're expressing it and how you're expressing it. And folks paying you have everything to say about that. They do not have to keep someone employed who's making their outfit look bad. They don't have to keep employed anyone that's causing all of these phone calls to be made to the agency, and it's factual. There's truth to it. It's verifiable. How would they be sticking up for you if people are calling your place of employment, wherever you're getting paid from, and they're reporting your comments that support the death of Charlie Kirk or support his assassination? Who wants to deal with that? Yes, the bar is much higher for public servants, but no employer wants to deal with that. You can be working at a sawmill. A sawmill needs customers. Sawmills have contracts. So someone at the sawmill who's going on social media with their own name and making these comments, you damn well better believe that sawmill is most likely to can that lumberjack or any other employee there. No doubt about it, though, public servants have a higher standard. Court decision after court decision after court decision has demonstrated this. If you want to go into public service, your standard of expectation with respect to how you're connecting yourself to your profession and those who are paying you is what it's about. What is the harm in using a phantom account? What is the harm of not using your picture? What is the harm of not having to worry about somebody coming back at you about what you're saying? What is the harm of deciding not to take the risk that they're taking? The answer, I state again, they are completely and totally unaware that the law is not on their side. I fully support people having whatever opinion they want about the Charlie Kirk situation or anything else. I'm not okay with people who are public servants getting on the international airwaves, connecting their profession, their licenses, and their titles to their comments. Now, sometimes the comments are so far beyond outrageous, and somebody's not using their picture, someone's not using their likeness, and that's still addressed. But for the most part, obviously, it's these people that are running around making the most incendiary, provoking, supportive violence, supportive bigotry, and they're attaching themselves to businesses, to schools, to universities, to the Secret Service. I mean, this dude is causing problems on levels that you can't even begin to even articulate. This guy is causing problems far beyond just getting suspended, and he doesn't even realize it. He didn't realize that making the statement and then thinking you can just go back out on Secret Service detail and everything's hunky-dory. He didn't see that he would be a target for attack himself. He didn't see that being a Secret Service agent and making these comments and being known is exacerbating the risk to those he is supposed to be protecting. Short-sighted to that degree, he shouldn't be in that position. And then there's problems even beyond that. He gets canned, and now they're going to have to watch him. It's not over for him. They're going to have to tail him, because who's to say how angry he will be about getting canned from the Secret Service? And what's his next move going to be? He's just making the situation harder. And he has a whole senator up here, wrote a whole letter to the Secret Service director to get rid of him. And surely they're going to get rid of him. No way in hell can somebody like this carry a security clearance. They claim that the security clearance has been revoked. This is what they're saying. When I went through background investigation twice since I've been here, the saving grace was me not making threats. I wouldn't do it anyway. That's not who I am. I would not come on here and start threatening to kill anybody. There's nothing. I don't care what you say. There is nothing that you can say to me that's going to prompt me to threaten you with violence. Celebrate a murder, laugh, ha, 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 when somebody gets assassinated. You can't make me do anything like that. There was never any risk of me suffering any consequences as a result. People start going back and forth with these threats. Both people are considered equal. Telling someone you're prepared to defend yourself after you receive the threat is not the same thing as saying you're going to take somebody's life, or you're going to kill somebody, you're going to show up at somebody's house because something they said about you. Now, for future implications, how are these people going to fare? Their comments are all over social media, And employers, more than ever, are going to keep looking for people in their social media comments. And they have these apps. Breaking the Culture of Silence was telling me about it. They developed even more apps to find hidden social media posts. You can't hide this shit. What you're saying is documented. I am responding to what I want to respond to. Obviously, I don't say the same things online that I do offline. That's ridiculous. Anyone who does that, you're a fool. You are a fool if you verbatim repeat the same things online as you do offline. That's just stupidity. There's a difference between being stupid and being sensible and looking after your own best interest. You do not have to put yourself at risk in order to express an opinion. There are people all over expressing their views about Charlie Kirk, and they never were a fan or never supported him. They're not getting fired. But those who have to go the distance, those who really need to be seen and heard, because for some reason they feel they're not quite being heard to the degree they want to be heard, they want to make noise. But boy, did they ever make noise. No way in hell did they ever anticipate that they would lose a job. Had they researched the history about court rulings and social media posts, they'd be in a better position. If you're going to spend all this time on social media, invest in how you can be impacted. Do that. The chances of you suffering any catastrophic outcome, getting fired by a job, having the police knock on your door, getting arrested, having the comments follow you around, will be significantly decreased or essentially non-existent. Breaking the Culture of Silence was telling me that they have these apps that can go back so far. You think you hid something, you didn't hide anything. If you had your account and it said what it said, they're going to find it. There is no such thing as hiding anymore. And there's no burner phones either. And even this WhatsApp thing, they're finding out how to get into that. It's just better to not use your legal name and associate yourself with an entity or a brand or a profession when you come online if you're going to be making statements and not just about Charlie Kirk, about anybody. You run the risk of suffering serious, catastrophic consequences. Obviously, I got much more I'm going to be saying at any given time. In the meantime, buyer beware. Anyone else administration determines is in need of Secret Service protection will get it. The Secret Service know so much about the people that they're protecting because that's part of the job. How are you going to protect someone you don't know information about them more than the average person? And this is a person who feels he's deserving of a job when he's verbalized and celebrated being ecstatic about someone being assassinated, in particular someone who is close to the administration that he is serving or was close to the administration. It's not just you show up on an assignment. It involves background investigation, scouting places out, identifying risk, trying to prevent injury and death. However, you are applauding the assassination. That is a conflict with your job. This dude, Mr. Pugh, was on the job and heard, no doubt, the overwhelming sense of anger, sadness, frustration on behalf of Charlie Kirk. There very well could have been people in the Secret Service ranks who he was interacting with and other people who felt the way he did. But guess who was dumb enough to open up his mouth? When I say open up his mouth, move his fingers on the keyboard, the equivalency, and post those statements. He must have been feeling so isolated that he had to go online. Aren't there any other people in his life that he can go to, he can sit down and talk to and get his feelings out?